Okay, let's try and be a little more practical. At the beginning of these videos, I mentioned the fact that all the psychic and mediumistic things were just the tip of the iceberg. And we want to try, now that we've gotten by that in the summary and you've got an idea of the principles involved and everything, I want to get a little bit more specific in how we can get more practical. And one of those important ways is to realize that you create your life. And more often than not, you create it through visualization. Now, at the onset, I want to say and hope that you understand that everything that I'm going to talk about is something that you're already doing. It's just that you haven't taken control of it. Now, way back in the 1960s, early 1970s, Jose Silva started, because of his experiences, started the Silva Mind Control Group. And everybody got all itchy about it. Oh, people, it's mind control. They're trying to control your mind. And that's not what it was about. It was not about controlling other people's minds. It was about controlling your mind. Now, visualization, in other words, seeing and using visualization, is how you create your life. You're doing it right now. And we're going to, again, what we're going to try and help you do is to get control of it. And I explain how it works. Now, if any of you are familiar with the book and the movie The Secret, then you know about the law of attraction. In other words, like vibrations attract one another. However, there's another portion of this, and that is direction, or focus, however you want to put it. You've heard me use that word focus a number of times during the course of these videos. And by that I mean this. If you combine that with the idea that everything is connected to everything, that if you use focus and you use direction, in other words, telling your mind and your consciousness that you want to focus your life in a particular direction, just like my friend who does the hypnosis and tells the subconscious to do something, it just doesn't have, and you don't have, any choice in terms of higher aspects of your consciousness to do it. It has to work that way. So how does this work? Let's take a look at an event and show you a little bit how this works. You're walking into a cabin, and as you walk into the cabin, you look up, and there's a hole in the roof, and there's a big boulder laying on the floor. And you say, well, it's easy. That hill behind the cabin, the boulder came loose, and it came down, and it went through the roof, and here it is laying on the floor of the cabin. Well, if you were to say that, you really wouldn't be saying everything you needed to say or understand everything you needed to know. Because it's not just the boulder. It's the rain pounding at the boulder over countless years, or the winds taking soil away from the base of the boulder, all right, or somebody coming up to it and leaning on it with their foot. That eventually what happened is it came down and went through the roof, and there you are looking at it. So that's one way. You look at an event or something that occurs as a meeting of a whole bunch of different sources, all right? And those sources, when they come together in a particular manner, particular way, cause an event to happen. But an event is even more complex than that, because what it involves is a causal chain. In other words, we're going back to cause and effect. You're walking by a factory. The factory is burning coal for whatever reason, and a piece of soot gets in your eye. And you take it off, and you think nothing, you rub it out, and you think nothing of it. And to show you how complicated this can get, not complicated, but how involved it is, that piece of soot comes from the coal. The coal had to be mined by somebody. It had to be transported there, okay? It, again, had to be mined. It had to be, the coal had formed over hundreds of thousands of years, and it goes that far back. In other words, cause and effect is a chain. So now, when I talk about direction, what I'm talking about is this. Since at a higher level you are connected to absolutely everything, okay? You say to your mind and to your spirit and that higher aspect of your consciousness, I want to go in this direction. I want this particular event to take place. And all of a sudden, you start to begin to follow a path without even realizing it, moving you toward that event where everything comes, those additional sources and causes all come together, and the event is created, and it is created in your life. Now, it works extremely well. And again, let me reemphasize, this is something you're already doing. It's just a matter of controlling it. And when I say control it, I mean a couple of different things. Obviously, you're controlling it by trying to focus, and you're trying to direct yourself in a particular direction. But also, you begin to take control over what you visualize and what you don't visualize. We do some remarkable things with our lives that we don't even think about. Because remember, way at the beginning in one of the videos, I said thoughts are things. When we worry about something, and when an event happens that's very happy, makes us happy, we act in such a strange and different way. In a joyful event, we experience the event, we enjoy it, we perceive it, and it takes place, and we move on. When we worry about something, it stays on our mind, and we think about it, and we think about it, and we think about it. And a lot of the times, it doesn't happen. To give you an idea, there was a survey done at I believe it was Loyola University in Chicago, where 100,000 people were surveyed over, I think it was like a 90 or 120-day period, who had problems that they were concerned about. And they focused on them, just like I said, and 90% of the times, the negative events that they were worried about never took place. Don't feed the negativity. I don't care what it's about. Don't feed it. Because when you feed it, you could create it. Believe in what you can do. Be positive. Focus positively, and you create your life. You draw yourself towards those events that cause things to come about the way you want them to come about. So it's not just attraction, it's direction. But here's something else. A lot of times people visualize, and it does happen, it comes true, but sometimes it doesn't. Because there's a higher aspect to your consciousness that knows, well, you would like to have this happen, but it's better for you in this aspect, all right, to not have it happen. In other words, you have a lesson to learn. You have something to go through. And what you need spiritually is not going to be contradicted by your wishes. I know somebody that one particular time wanted to get into politics, and that's all he thought about, and that's all he thought about. And when he went to psychics and got readings, because it was so predominant on his mind, that's all, they picked it up. But that's not what he needed. For some reason, he had a lesson to learn, and it was through this method, and that he was going to learn it by not getting his wish. But here is the thing. Realize that you create your life. You're doing it right now. Make sure you're doing it the way you should be doing it, and what's going to get the best and most positive results for you. I hope this gives you some idea. What I'm talking about is something that myself and thousands of other people have used over the years and have proven for it to work very, very effectively. I hope it's of help to you. And we'll move on and try and be more practical in some of these videos that are coming up.